يا راغبا في كل علم نافع.
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية
زاد أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن، والسيرة العلياء عطرة الشدى طيب يفوح لأهل كل زمان. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهداه. أما بعد. Among those whom the Prophet ﷺ loved, his cousin, Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him. He was the first among the children to accept Islam. As we know, he was about 10 years of age. And he was the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ. He is the son-in-law of the Prophet ﷺ, who married his daughter Fatima. And the Prophet loved him, and he told us that Allah loves him. Salam ibn Akwa, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that the Prophet ﷺ, on the day of Khaybar, which was a battle, he said, "Tomorrow I shall give the flag, the banner, to a man who is loved by Allah and His Messenger." And the people spent the night discussing who could that man be. Everyone wanted to be that person, because what an honor. And when it was morning, they went to meet the Prophet ﷺ, hoping to be the chosen one. And the Prophet said, ﷺ, "Where is Ali ibn Abi Talib?" So they said to him, "He has an infection in his eyes. He can't see." So the Prophet said, ﷺ, "Send him, bring him." So Salam ibn Akwa went and brought Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him, and I was leading him because of this infection in his eyes. So when he was brought in front of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet spit in his eyes, or spat in his eyes, and he was immediately cured. And the Prophet gave him the flag or the banner to lead the warriors, which means that he is loved by Allah and by His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And everyone knows that Abu Bakr is the most beloved to the Prophet ﷺ, then Umar, then Uthman. And this is how we Muslims look at these great companions of the Prophet ﷺ. And then in the fourth category, or the fourth seeding, is Ali ibn Abi Talib. And when we look at those deviant sects that make an issue out of it, and they are a small percentage of 5 or 6% of the whole entire ummah, we're shocked. Why dividing the ummah? Why going against the mainstream, against the Quran, against the prophetic sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, just to divide the ummah and to cause hatred and enmity over something that is crystal clear? After Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet loved a lot of the companions, but to be specific, he loved his grandchildren a lot. They are the sons of Ali and Fatima. They are Al-Hasan wal-Husayn. Usama ibn Zayd ibn Haritha, may Allah be pleased with him and with his father, says, once I visited the Prophet's home, alayhi salatu wassalam, and I knocked on his door. So he came out wearing a cloak, and I don't know what was underneath it, but it looked big. So after I got my errands done, I said, "O Prophet of Allah, what are you wearing? What's underneath that?" So he revealed it, and it was Al-Hasan and Al-Husayn sitting on his knees. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, "These are my children. These are my two sons, my daughter's two sons. Oh Allah, I love them, so love them and love those who love them." And by Allah, we love Al-Hasan wal-Husayn for the love of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and because they are the offspring of Ali and Fatima, may Allah be pleased with them, and because they are two of the greatest companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Hurairah also narrates a hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam midday went to the souk, to the market of the Jews of Bani Qaynuqa', and then he came to Fatima's house, his daughter, and he was asking, "Where is Luka'?" And Luka' is a word that has a double meaning, but it means, where's my son? Where's the little one? So and he was asking about Al-Hasan, of course. So she prepared him and sent him to him. And the moment they saw each other, they hugged one another. And the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wassalam, "Oh Allah, I love him. So love him and love those who love him." Abu Hurairah afterwards said, "By Allah, there was no one more beloved to me after the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam than Al-Hasan ibn Ali, because of what the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam." Among those whom the Prophet loved alayhi salatu wasalam were definitely on the top of the list among the women, Khadijah and Aisha, his two beloved wives. Though there were decades and years in age difference between them. Mother Aisha says, "I've never felt jealous from anyone other than Khadijah, though I've never met her." And this is because the Prophet so often used to mention her, of course, after her death. May Allah be pleased with her. And whenever a sheep was slaughtered, he used to send gifts from the meat of the sheep to her friends. One day, I complained and made the Prophet ﷺ angry when I said, "Khadijah," meaning, how often do you mention her name? She says, "Maybe I said also as if there were no other woman in the world except Khadijah." And the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wassalam, "Love of Khadijah was instilled in my heart." He made it clear. He didn't beat around the bush and told her, "This is the love of my life that Allah has placed and instilled in my heart, because she's the first among the women to become Muslim and accept and believe my message. And she supported me in all or by all means." And this was at the beginning of da'wah, of the religion. As for Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, of course, she had a special place in the Prophet's heart, and he never hid that. It was obvious, it was crystal clear to everyone. Amr ibn al-As came once and said to the Prophet ﷺ, "Who among the men do you love most?" So the Prophet said, "Abu Bakr." And then, who among the men do you love most? The Prophet said, Aisha. So when he said, no, I meant among the men, he said Abu Bakr, her father. And this made it clear that Aisha was the most beloved living person on earth to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And this is something that can be found when you read the biography of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, that he used to love Aisha, and it was known to everyone, to the extent that the Prophet ﷺ, when he was sick at the last days of his life, he used to often ask, where am I tomorrow? Where am I tomorrow? And they would say, you are at Hafsa's house. You are at Zainab's house. You are at Safiya's house. And whenever he was told, you are at Aisha's house, he would relax and become calm, because they knew that he was so eager to be nursed in her home and taken care of in her home. And that's why at the end of days, they all said, we give our nights to Aisha, let him stay with Aisha, because this is what he likes most, and this is how he is comfortable. And the Prophet ﷺ, as Aisha says, he died in my house on my day, under my watch, with his head leaning on my chest. So the Prophet was leaning on her, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he passed away. She says, Abdurrahman ibn Abi Bakr, my brother, came in and he was holding a fresh palm branch, like a twig, like a miswak. And the Prophet was looking at it as if he was desiring it. So I took it from Abdurrahman, I chewed it and made it soft for him, and then I gave it to him, and the Prophet went on cleaning his teeth with it in the best way he could. Then he gave it to me and he dropped his hand, or it fell from his hand. Thus Allah caused this moment to be a memorable moment, because the last thing the Prophet did was to have my saliva mixed with his saliva on my day, on my chest, when he died, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. هذا والله أعلم ونسبة العلم إليه أسلم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
يا راغبا في كل علم نافع
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية
زاد أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن، والسيرة العلياء عطرة الشدى طيب يفوح لأهل كل زمان. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.